referred me out to the county. They told me they told me there was a number in the county, but they gave me the number and I just kept calling until I got through. And eventually I wound up with the person who worked with me by email. So I could scan the documents I had, send her those. She'd tell me what else I needed. So I was able to do it all by email or on the phone. And then they told me I was approved for it for the next year. And we started making plans for them to come out. And the first thing they found was asbestos. It was around the ductwork in the basement. Tape that was used to seal and some other insulating materials. I have in my bathroom closet, I have ducts going up, and there was asbestos in my bathroom closet, which I noticed, so I was kind of trying not to rub my towels up against the asbestos. They said, well, that's okay, but we'll have to get approval to take care of that also. So that was a little bit of a delay, but it happened. And then they brought somebody in to remove all the asbestos. I mean, they even scrubbed off glue and everything. And then they went away, and then they came back in. The next crew started blowing cellulose fiber into my walls. And I've been kind of concerned about that, but then I learned it was treated with flame retardants and pest repellents, something like that. That's not the right word. But it wasn't going to be a mouse nest. So they drilled holes in my walls and glued in insulation. They offered to put up chair rails where they had made holes, and I decided, nope, I want to patch and paint those, so that's what I'm in the process of doing now. And as I do that, I'm patching all the rest of the holes.
Okay.
Then they brought in some guys to be sure all my ductwork was taped with the appropriate kind of tape. They installed ducts for my hot water heater, which I had a new hot water heater, but it was really not very energy efficient. And so they replaced that with an energy efficient one. But from the moment that they blew in the wall insulation, I couldn't hear the outdoor street noise anymore. And whereas previously, when the sewers get stewing here in the summertime, so you get the stewer smell, sometimes that smell would come in even through the walls. Nope, it doesn't come in anymore. So that's an additional benefit. And my air conditioner stopped coming on all the time. So I haven't seen the electrical bills from this summer yet, but I haven't compared them, but I know they're lower for air conditioning. And they caulked all my windows. They did a lot of caulking. They just went through their whole list of things that I had agreed. They had the representative from MPCAA came out and gave me a whole list of the things they were going to do, which they know better. They know this stuff better than I do. I know a whole lot about a very little area, but I don't know anything about weatherization, and these guys know it all, and they bring it up to code on everything they touch because they're meeting best standards in the industry, some set by federal organizations for air quality and the breathability of my house, so how much air is flowing through my house. My stove was emitting carbon monoxide as well as carbon dioxide because it just wasn't burning efficiently. So they tried to tune up my stove. Really old stove. They just took it out.
Okay.
They took it out and replaced it with a new one with a light, and it evacuates outside. My air circulation in the bathroom was not good enough. Oh darn, I kind of felt like that because everything got steamy. So they put in a bathroom fan that's motion activated. So when I'm not in there, it's just really low level circulating. But when I am in there, such as when I'm having a shower, it really moves the air. removes the moisture, sends it outside. That was the thing I had planned for a remodel, that I was going to pay out of pocket, and I wouldn't have been able to afford one as good as they. And the business that they evacuate outside, having lived in houses with both, really makes a difference to me. I can notice the difference. There was a lead person on the crew who I met the first time after the asbestos team was gone. And I met him, and he remained the lead person all throughout. His crew would change. He would be assigned people who were different. But I was very, very comfortable with him and his management of his crew. And his crew were all very polite and friendly, and I let him worry about their confidence because he oversaw it all. My attic had a drop ceiling with those acoustic tiles in it that were barely hanging in there. I mean, when I bought the house, I thought, well, this has to go. They knew that in order to really accomplish the energy efficiency that they wanted, and their measure is reducing the amount of air flowing through your house from the outside in, that the best thing they could do would be to give me a drywall ceiling with insulation all above it, because the attic was not very well insulated. It wasn't too bad. It was okay in the winter time, but really hot in the summer. So they took on and did drywall my ceiling, insulate all over it. So my attic has a little over 6 foot ceiling, and then it has knee walls that come up at an angle. They went behind those knee walls, put insulation in all over this ceiling, all around the attic, above the attic ceiling, plugged any holes. I mean, there were some holes that were just things people had lived with or had been built that way, going from the attic up into the space above it, leaking a lot. They just filled them. They filled everything. At one point they had to move some of my clothes from my closet. They carefully moved my clothes out, set them on a table. No dirty hands. Covered them with a tarp, did their work. When the tarp came off, I picked my clothes up, put them back in the closet. No mess with us. I did have to prepare for them, but they told me when they were going to be there. They were there on time. They usually left a little early because those fellas had to drive back to Versailles to find their cars to go home. They changed my gas pipeline because it was old galvanized steel, and the new code requires an upgrade. It's a flexible metal pipe. They replaced all that. That was not something I had planned to do, but it just did things that were beyond my budget and made the house really much more valuable just because of the quality of the systems. Because the attic was far away from the furnace, they put in it, I didn't hardly know about these. I had hardly heard of these before, but only once before. They put in a fan in a duct to blow the air from the ductwork to give it a boost going upstairs. And that, it's nice up there even when it's 90 degrees outside, which is kind of beyond my wildest dreams. That was just awesome. And I can do this now for less money. My significant other, who lives out in Hillview, he's applied. I'm involved with the Chickasaw Neighborhood Federation. I've posted it out through there and to my neighbors down here. I have carried word of mouth to some of my neighbors personally, people who I know, like my next door neighbor, who really benefit from this and who definitely meet the income requirements, because those of us who meet income requirements may not any longer qualify for LIHEAP, but we do qualify for the Weatherization program. I hope to see more of that done down here because that would really improve the value of the housing stock down here. To have somebody go in and change over the pipes in particular. The galvanized steel pipes have taken a lot of wear over the years. I would have had a hard time doing the work they did. I would have a hard time imagining how they do the work they do with narrow doorways, tight corners, like you go from a corner enter, come up steps, turn a corner, go up steps, turn a corner. These guys were skilled in tight maneuvering and just very polite and friendly. They built a little, they put everything on my bed and built a little plastic room around it, so and it never got any dust on it. They did, this was just a piece of paneling. They put an insulation behind the paneling and brought me a new hot water heater. This hot water heater is up to code in that it has an expansion tank and a tray to catch any overflow so that I don't walk in here accidentally and get myself burned by water that has escaped. My house is tight, very airtight now, and sometimes that could have caused the hot water heater to put the pilot light out. So in replacing the hot water heater, they provided me with one that is designed to be the most energy efficient and not lose its pilot light. I'm interested in seeing Workville in my neighborhood and all of Brackett's friends and relatives take advantage of the MPCAA weatherization program.